안녕하세요. Hello friends, and how are you? I hope you have been well. Recently I've been getting the question, how did I learn Korean and how did I start learning? Like, where should I start? Well, then I thought to myself, well, if I suddenly forgot all of my Korean and it's all gone, I'm at the very beginning again, how would I go about learning it? During the time I spent learning Korean for about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. I've done some things that were really effective, but I've made some mistakes along the way that have really held me back from reaching my full potential, and it really killed my motivation. So in this video, I will be showing you how I would go about learning Korean from scratch, and at the end of the video, I will tell you some of the mistakes I've made so you can avoid them. These tips also apply to any language really, so I'm actually currently using these steps to learn German right now, but I know a lot of you want to start learning Korean, so this video is for you. So let's start with something pretty simple. I'm pretty sure most of us do this already, and if you are heading in the right step. The first thing I would recommend when learning a new language is watch a lot of TV, reality TV, interviews of actors and singers, just listen to native or advanced speakers talk. It really helps with your listening skills as well as help you become culturally sensitive, because if you keep watching, you slowly pick up on different social cues that may be rude or polite, like bowing. I learned that from watching. When you meet someone, you bow. Someone older than you bow. Simple things like that are really helpful. If you listen to lots of realistic sort of conversations and dialogues in films and shows, then slowly over time, you begin to speak in a more natural way because that's what you're used to listening to. When I first started learning Korean, I liked to imitate how the actors spoke in a way. So I think it helps to imitate what you hear to get a better accent, or to get as close to a native accent as possible if that's your goal. That's something I work towards, so I still try to mimic and try to copy how they speak, their mouth, how they move their mouth when they talk, things like that. Hangul. When you start to learn Korean and you rely on romanization, it will really hold you back, and it will hurt you in the long run. It'll especially mess up your pronunciation. You might sound really dumb when you try to use romanization rather than their form of writing. Here's an example. So we have this word. It means to give a gift. So you see here the romanization, or the English letters. If you try to pronounce that, I guess I would pronounce it like Sionmulhada, and that is not correct. If you read the Korean Hangul, it'd be 선물하다. So those are really different. It's definitely worth the time to dedicate learning the Korean alphabet, and it's pretty simple. Also, surprise, I am currently filming Hangul videos, so if you'd like to take lessons from me, wait like 2 weeks and they'll be here soon. I also have worksheets to go along with it so you can really master the language. So yeah, wait for me, but if you don't want to wait, feel free to take any other lesson. If it takes you a day, a week, a month, just learn it. It'll be so worth it. Just do it, okay? No excuses. Learn the alphabet. End of story. Next, I would move on to downloading apps, specifically Rosetta Stone. I like this app because it's a great way to gradually immerse yourself into the language. Apps are beneficial because you'll learn a lot of vocab, and you can essentially study anywhere, walking your dog, riding the train, waiting in line, etc. And they are a great supplement to any study routine. Rosetta Stone offers you the tools to get to your goals and to start speaking early on. This app has speech recognition software, so if you're anything like me and you are terrified to talk to natives when you're just beginning, then this is a great way to start speaking by yourself and try to fix your pronunciation early on. 남자가 한국어로 말을 해요. Seeing it actually worked. When I first began to learn Korean, the progress I made with this app was really motivating, especially as a beginner. So I was really excited when Rosetta Stone reached out to collaborate, so thank you. And if you are interested, click the link in my description to get a discount on their monthly subscription. Or you can get unlimited access to the app for $1.99. You can learn as many languages as you want, and once you buy it, it's yours for life. Okay, moving on to YouTube grammar videos. Once you have mastered Hangul and you know a few vocab words, I would move on to this step next because it's free, and a lot of times they have a lot of basic lessons online to learn the basic grammar structures to sort of dip your foot into the language and really figure out if this is for you. Because sometimes some languages can be a lot more difficult and you get discouraged easily, so I think this is a good way to dip your toe into the language and sort of just slowly learn at your own pace, you know, pause, keep going, go back, review, things like that. So I'd take a few lessons with free YouTube teachers on YouTube, and more specifically, I would learn greetings. I would learn how to introduce yourself, numbers, I am, you know, basic verbs, things like that. And then once you've done all of that, moving on, then I would consider buying a book to study the next level of grammar drills. So what you can do is look up reviews for different textbooks. I've tried a few, some I didn't like, some I did like. I could do a review on books if you'd like in the future, but I'm currently studying with the Seoul University Korean books. I've also used Talk to Me in Korean. I actually just ordered the next level, but it hasn't come yet. Just look up some fellow Korean learning YouTube channels, and I'm sure you could find a bunch of book recommendations and find what works with your learning style. Okay, moving on. Now, after you have learned vocab, you know how to write in the language, you know quite a few grammar drills, I would move on to talking. Now, I'm a pretty shy person, so I would never ever get a language partner so early on in the learning. Thunder. So what I recommend is talking to yourself. So just really simple things like, I'm waking up. I'm eating food. I'm eating salmon and potatoes. I'm going to go brush my teeth. Oh, I have work at 9 a.m. I have to study Korean now. I have to walk my dog. I'm watching TV. I'm watching this show called, what am I watching? Extracurricular on Netflix. You know, just simple things you already know. Just talk to yourself. Your family may think you're weird, but who cares? It's fine. Get comfortable with talking to yourself. You know, this gives you a chance to also sort of work on your pronunciation. So you're like, oh, I say this word a little weird. So just try to say it over and over and over, and you'll slowly improve over time. And then after, you know, you get pretty comfortable with talking, what I would do, get an online tutor. You know, it's one-on-one. And it's really customized because you're the only student. There's no shame in making mistakes because the teacher knows that you're learning. The lessons are customized for you. So if you know there's one grammar structure that's really hard and you're having a hard time understanding, maybe it doesn't translate well in your language and you're having a hard time piecing it together, a tutor would be able to help you understand that much better, give you examples, sentences, dialogues, things like that. So I've been using a tutor. I think it starts in 12 minutes, so I'm just gonna do my homework really quick that I forgot to do, and yeah, let's go. I speak with her once or twice a week, depending. She gives me homework, practice speaking, learn new things, and it's really great. And it's just great practice to continue to speak. Also, if you kind of just want a tutor once in a while, they're great for review for what you've learned in the books. I'd recommend getting a tutor like once every other month to sort of just refresh and review what you've learned and sort of put it into action. And then the last thing I would do to learn Korean after I feel comfortable with speaking by myself and then speaking with a teacher or tutor, I would then find a language partner. It can be really nerve-wracking but so rewarding. One, you meet friends. Two, you can practice your language skills. And three, if you ever visit Korea, you already have a friend, you know someone. So yeah, that's really useful. And my native language is English, so then I'd find someone who wants to learn English but also speaks Korean. So we'd 30 minutes English and then 30 minutes Korean talking. Language partner isn't a teacher, it's a friend to help you progress and get used to talking. I think that's the most important thing. So you may know all of these grammar structures and vocab, but if you're not used to using it and speaking the language, you may speak really slow, and that's okay. You know, you get better the more you speak and practice. Those are my tips for learning Korean from scratch. I hope you will use them, and let me know if any of these sound useful to you and you will use them. So now let's move on to some mistakes I've made so you can avoid them in the future. One mistake I've made was learning too much at once. I know it's really tempting to get excited and want to just jump in and learn everything, but that is a surefire way of getting overwhelmed and forgetting almost everything you learned. So yeah, I've done that in the beginning, and I've got really unmotivated early on, and I took a long break, stopped learning before I came back. So that's not the goal. You want to learn little bit by little bit, gradually learn more and more. The next mistake I've made was not speaking enough, you know, either alone or with someone else. Like I said, I'm really shy, so it took me a really long time to just speak to someone or even out loud. I was just really insecure, and I feel like that has held me back a lot because I've had to work really hard to practice speaking. And you know, on camera it seems pretty well because I can edit out the ums and the and all the mistakes I've made. But when I'm with my tutor, that's something I really struggle with, making advanced sentences. Although I understand a lot, I can read and write a lot, but I just can't seem to speak. So that's one thing my tutor and I are really focusing on, is my speaking skills. So I definitely recommend speak early on, speak on day one, even if all you know is 안녕하세요. Say 안녕하세요 100 times. 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. Just practice speaking and don't make the mistakes I did, okay? The next mistake I made was being inconsistent. And this sort of ties back into learning too much. Because I'd spend like one day learning 5 hours, I'd just stop for 5 days, and then I'd come back, and then I'd forget everything I learned, then I'd get discouraged and stop, and then I'd come back, and you know, so it's better to just have small, like 20-minute study sessions each day rather than trying to cram hours and hours of work in each day. So even if you're lazy, you know, use an app before you go to bed. At least you're sort of refreshing what you learned. So be consistent, okay? The last mistake that I could think of, I'm sure there are more, it's being afraid of making mistakes. I think this is part of the reason why it took me so long to talk to anyone, because I was so afraid of messing up. Like, I think people would think I'm stupid or I'm incompetent, or like, why are you learning this? You don't even know anything. Like that, I would have all of these bad thoughts. And you know, you're learning a new language, you're gonna make mistakes. You do mistakes in everything you do. You make mistakes in your native language, probably. I do. And when I did make mistakes and I'd figure out the correct answer or something, or someone would correct me, then I'm like, oh, and then it's easier to sort of remember the right thing. A lot of teachers know mistakes are gonna happen. Language partners are probably gonna make mistakes to you in your native language, and then you're polite about it. You're like, oh, this is this is that. So yeah, mistakes are okay. It took me a while to realize that, and I still make loads of mistakes, but I'm like, whatever. As long as I'm learning, that's all that's important, right? Making mistakes is part of the process, and don't be afraid to make them, okay? We're all in this together. We're learning this beautiful language together. So that is all I have for this video today. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to let you know that we're in this together. It'll get hard sometimes, but you know, it's so worth it in the end to finally understand a drama, understand an interview, or if you're traveling to Korea, to have a conversation with a native. It's just such a fulfilling experience, and I hope we can all improve together. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. I think my next video will be how to create a study routine, like an everyday study plan. So if you're interested, stay tuned till next week. And if you are interested, click the link in my description to get a discount on their monthly subscription. Or you can get unlimited access to the app for $1.99 Bye. Bye. I'll see you next week.